Hey there, welcome back. My name is Lori, and on this channel I cover digital planning, art, creativity, and productivity. If that sounds good to you, make sure you stick around. Today I'm going to show you the new lock screen and home screen setup that I have on my brand new iPad Air, and I'm going to walk you through how I put those together. I use a combination of Pinterest, Canva, as well as a couple of different widget apps from the Apple App Store to get this setup. And I actually have a different setup for my lock screen than I do for my home screen, and I'm going to tell you why I do that when we get into it.
This is the lock screen that I currently have. It's left over from May. I actually really like it, but I'm going to try and do something similar for June. Similar in the fact that I like having these affirmations and these little stickers and things like that, but we're going to go with a different look and aesthetic. As far as my home screen, this is what I currently have right now. I have a calendar widget right here. These are just some graphics. I'm going to have some affirmations here again. I have a clock and battery widget. This is a widget pulled out of the Reminders app with some emojis on it. And then I have a few of the apps that I use the most. And these ones are themed using the Shortcuts app. Custom widgets there, and then these are obviously just the regular icons for GoodNotes and Procreate. I also, on some of my other screens, have pulled in a couple widgets as well, photo widgets, just to kind of fill in the space, just to make it look nice. And then this is a mood tracker widget that I was trying. It just looks kind of cute. A couple different things that I've been playing with. But today we are just going to work on the main home screen here and then a lock screen. As you can see, the main background that I have on my regular pages, my home screen, is a little more basic. It's still in the same color palette and things like that, but I wanted to be able to use this as more of a quote-unquote blank canvas for some of my widgets and things like that, rather than my regular lock screen, which I use more of these affirmations, other stickers, things like that I'm gonna be inspired by every time I open my iPad. Today we're gonna be using a combination of Pinterest, Canva, as well as some different widget apps for the actual home screen. Here's a glimpse at my June digital planner. You can see I've got kind of a theme going here with some pastels, some rainbows, and that kind of thing. So what I'd like to do is get my home screen and my lock screen more in this aesthetic. We're gonna head on out to Pinterest and see what we can find that might match that kind of style. It's already giving me some ideas based on what it thinks that I'm going to be searching for, which is a little bit spooky. So we're going to go rainbow pastel and see what we get. Okay, perfect. A lot of these are ones that I think will totally work. So I'm just going to go through and grab a few of these and save them to my Photos app, and then we're going to meet up in Canva and start putting those collages together. I think this one right here might be really good for one of my backgrounds, so I'm going to grab this one as well.
With Pinterest, you can choose to either save some of these to a board, or if you're only going to use them once, you can just save them directly to your iPad, and then we'll use them later on in Canva.
Once I found a few general images that I like and I think will be helpful for my collage, then I'm going to come up here and add the word quote to my search. And then you can start getting some of these affirmations and things that you want to add to your mood board. And don't overthink it. You don't have to take a lot of time with this. Just find ones that kind of speak to you in the moment. And if you get too many, that's fine. We can always cut it down later. I tend to grab a lot of quotes because I find them to be really powerful just to see those every time I turn on my iPad and have something inspirational to look at. Okay, that's probably enough for now. I may go back and get more, but we're gonna move on to Canva and start putting this collage together. I generally suggest using a square shape.
So things that are on the very edges may or may not be seen depending on which mode you're in. You'll want to make sure that you keep everything that's really important, that you absolutely want to see no matter what, a little bit more into the center of your design.
Let's just take a look at mine. This is the landscape view of it. If we turn it to portrait, we're still going to get the most important stickers and affirmations and everything like that. The size of this one that I've done is 1920 by 1920 pixels. Let's just go create a design and do a custom size and do 1920 by 1920. Create. And then we are going to want to pull from our camera roll because that's where we saved all those images. And then you can just start dragging them in and just having fun. There is no right or wrong way to do this. I generally try and keep these larger, more background kind of things on the edge, like I said, for that reason of if you're going to be turning it landscape and portrait. I'll start with some of these, just to kind of fill in these areas, and then I'm going to be putting quotes and stickers and other things like that on top. And if you want to crop things, you can just grab a handle right here and do that. Double tap on there and you can move stuff around within that window. Now, the only thing I'm not loving about this right now is this one is a little bit brighter as far as an aesthetic. So one little trick you can do is select that image, come up here to edit image, and I love using these photogenic effects here. And if you look through here, there's all these different ways to kind of tweak the image to make it a little more match the style of the other ones. And then the other thing I can do is slightly bring up the saturation on it. Now it's a little bit too soft. So in this adjust menu, you can play around with that. That's pretty good for now on the background. And then I'm going to start adding my quotes and other things on top. Now, if I wanted to, I could put this inside a frame. And I think I might actually do that. I can just leave that there for a sec. Come up to the elements menu here. Look for frames, and there's all these choices for different shapes that I can put this in. I kind of like these organic kind of looking things. Grab the image and just drag it on top of the frame. It's going to pop inside there. And then you can always reposition it. And the other thing you can do is you can actually add stickers from within Canva itself. So if you come over here to the Elements tab, you can just search for whatever you want. I'm looking for a rainbow that I can change the color on to show you that. There we go. So you can see up here, we can actually change the colors on this one, and we'll be able to pull out of these pictures that we have down here. So if we scroll down, you can see any of the photos that we have here, we can actually pull the colors out of for this rainbow. So the last thing that I like to do is add a little bit of a white cloud gradient kind of look on the sides of these. I just think it looks really nice. This is a custom gradient that I've created. You can see on my lock screen here, there's just a little bit of a haze on the side, and I think it just gives it a nice look. So I'm gonna go in and add that. Here's our lock screen. We are just going to need to download it from Canva. Come up here. You can use this direct download link here, or if you want to have a little more control over the file type and everything, come to this share button, choose download, and grab a JPEG and choose download. Then we can come into settings, scroll down to wallpaper, choose new wallpaper, go to your photos, grab the one that you just downloaded, and if you like the way that looks, choose set. I'm just going to choose my lock screen, and there we go. Here is the landscape view. If I switch it to portrait, this is what I get. Now, as you can see, some of my quotes and things like that are getting cut off. I'm probably going to go in and adjust this, the sizing of it, so that doesn't happen. Sometimes it takes a little bit of finagling. I generally look at it in landscape, and this is working for me. So for the sake of this video, I'm gonna leave that. I may go around and play around with it again later. But we're gonna call that good and move on to home screen.
Now that we've got our lock screen collage done, I hope that was helpful for you, and if it was, I would love it if you could take a quick moment to just hit that like button, give me a thumbs up down below, and that's really just gonna help the channel out. Let's go hop over and work on our home screen.
As I was going through and looking on Pinterest, I was making sure to look for some images that would work for that general home screen background that I was talking about. And I think probably one of these two is going to work. I'm gonna go ahead and try this one first. So let's go back into settings. We're already still in wallpaper. So we're gonna go ahead and grab this one. That's a really nice pastel aesthetic that will go with a lot of things. I think that looks really great. I'm gonna hit set home screen. And now we've got a nice pastel background. The first thing we're gonna do is make some photo widgets for some of these spots. To do that, I am using an app called Widgetsmith. As you can see, I already have some from the last time I did this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and change those out. In order to make a photo widget here, you just need to know which size you want to do. There's small, medium, large, and extra large. Generally, I use the small and medium widgets, a couple of large ones. As you can see here, these ones are considered small widgets. These rectangle ones are the medium, and these bigger squares are the large ones. You need to have kind of an idea of what you want to do, just because you're going to make these widgets individually. But of course, you can always come back and change them later. To make a photo widget, you just add a new widget and grab photo, go to select photo and choose one. I think I might use some of these quotes that I didn't use on the collage. Try that, and you can rename it. And then we're basically just going to remove the ones we have and put the new ones on. So we had a small one. Edit home screen. Take out a small one. And take out a large one, just so we have space to add the ones that we made. And then you come up here to the plus sign. Find Widgetsmith at the bottom. We're gonna add a small widget, and it's gonna add the most recent one that we did. You could find another one if you wanted. You could choose a different small widget. And then we're going to add the large one that we just made as well. Just scrolling over. Cool. And then of course you can drag these around. I may change the layout of this, but for now I'm just replacing the ones that I have. And then tap the screen to be done. To replace our calendar widget, we're gonna go back into Widgetsmith and just update the colors of this to fit a little better with the theme that we have. Here is my calendar here. Going to just tap in here, and under aesthetic and theme, see I have a custom one here, but you can actually look through here and see if there's one that would already work with our rainbow palette. Some of these I believe are premium, but a lot of them are free, and you can customize it for free. That is a free option. This powder one looks pretty good. Let's try that. Save it. I didn't rename it yet, but we'll just see how this looks. And it's gonna go ahead and automatically update it, since it's actually the same widget. And I'm actually not loving the color of pink that is, so I'm gonna go ahead and update that later, but I just want to show you how to do that. Reminders is gonna be the same way.
Remember that if you are going to do a widget of the reminders, you can actually use emojis in here. So you can use this to enhance the color palette or a theme that you're doing on your home screen.
Now these icons here, these ones that are themed, were actually done in a different app. That one is called Color Widgets. Again, it has free and premium features. I am only using the free ones. I found this one before Widgetsmith actually, so that's like where I made the clock one and things like that, but it has very similar ones, but it also does themed icons, and that's why I love this one. So you can do similar widgets up here as you can to Widgetsmith, but what I would like to do is come down to icons and grab some of these. Well, just for now, we're going to take this one. Choose Save Pack. And I'm going to deselect all because there's only a handful of these that I want. If you don't select just the ones that you know you need, you're going to get way too many extra icons you're going to have to go back and delete later. Once you found the ones that you need, just click Install. And since I'm using the free version, I'm going to have an ad pop up, which we're going to skip. All right, get out of the ad, and then we can download our icons. So this is going to work very similarly to iFont. If you've watched my video on how to install custom fonts, it's going to download a configuration profile. So you need to click Allow, download the profile, click Continue. And we need to go into Settings, Profile Downloaded, click Install again, and again, and then we are done. So now we have these brand new 6 icons here, and these are actually shortcuts to these apps. That's why I said you only want to install the ones that you actually need, otherwise you're going to have a million new icons that you would then have to go delete. I'm going to push and hold on this, edit home screen, and get rid of these bookmarks and put the new ones on. Actually, these ones don't look too bad. They're a little brighter than I would like for this background. I may still go back and change them later. Just wanted to show you how that process worked. Basically, you're just going to go through and follow that same process for all the different pieces of your home screen that you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and get this all updated, and then by the magic of video, I'm going to snap my fingers and give you a final view of how this ended up. I did end up going ahead and changing out these icons. This is still a free set from Color Widgets. And I did use some hex codes from the actual background here. If you take your stylus and swipe up, you can come down here, grab this color dropper, and go and grab any of these hex codes. That's how I was able to match these background colors here. I was able to match this pink background to this widget, the green one, and the purple, and just kind of played around with the rest of these as far as the placement to make them match the aesthetic here. And I did go ahead and change out this one as well, so it matches the purple on this side. I'm really happy with the way this turned out.
Honestly, I could spend so much time working on these. I have so much fun with it, and I hope you did as well. I would love to see what you create, so feel free to tag me on Instagram and let me see your designs. Until then, I will see you in the next video. Thanks!